I broke the co-op program and I ended up getting into a bunch of interviews I wasn't supposed to be able to because I was technically still a freshman. The co-op lady, she liked what I had done and my aggressiveness, and the very last question they asked me was, do you have any questions? So my last question was, can I ride back with you guys and get started? Interestingly, my boss told me that's the reason they hired me. I ended up going to work that Christmas and got paid ass tons of money to sit around and not do much over the Christmas break, which was pretty cool.
And like co-ops. So would you say there's a big difference between those two things in industry and in practice?
Depend on the school. A lot of co-op programs require you to do a certain number of semesters. Here's how I broach this with all of our co-ops, and I was told this when I first started as a co-op. Do you know what co-op is? It is the sound a cow patty makes when it hits the ground. Co-op. That way he immediately told me where I was in the pecking order, right? You're literally the lowest form of life either way. Co-op, intern, whatever it is. And embrace that fully wherever it is you go. I wouldn't worry too much about one or the other. Do whatever's best for you is the answer to the question. You're gonna have some people like, oh, you gotta co-op and do the 3 semesters and get the stupid little ribbon when you graduate. Nobody gives a shit about that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know, maybe you need the little piece of paper saying you went through the co-op program. I don't even know where mine is, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. More importantly is what is the experience and what's it doing for you and where do you want to go? If you want to do something, you really want to go try it first. Like each of you guys that's thinking about MET, if you haven't worked and done that job as an intern or a co-op, how do you know? Because the worst thing in the world is to see somebody finish a 4 or 5 or 6 year degree and get out there and work and fucking hate their job. Now what are they going to do? They got $2 billion in student loans to be an accountant and they hate accounting. They probably should have figured that out before then, right? Did that answer your question? Co-op, intern, I wouldn't worry about it. Just get the experience. More importantly is who are you working for and who are you working with. Make sure your boss doesn't suck. Make sure your coworkers are cool. My first co-op, hey, here's a whole department to run. Great, could you tell me where the hell it is and what the hell it even is? I was actually sitting in a huge meeting with like 40 people at a table and the plant manager was yelling at me about the plating and heat treating department in some machine. And I raised my hand, which everybody laughed at. The angry plant manager says, what? And I said, sir, if you'll tell me what that is and about where the hell it is in the plant and give me a little bit, I'll go figure it out. And he was like, I like you. And we were friends from that day forward, right? So yeah, go out, co-op, intern, break things, mess things up so bad they name it after you. Like, hey, we don't want to Brittany this. You know what I mean? That's what you want to do. You want to go out and make your mistakes. Back to what I was saying a minute ago, I shut a whole plant down. Do you think I learned how to not do something in the future? Yeah, 100%. And it's a great story. All the guys I used to work with, every once in a while, I'll get a message on LinkedIn, hey, you shut the fucking plant down. Like, shut up, you're old, you're about to die. I broke the co-op program and I ended up getting into a bunch of interviews I wasn't supposed to be able to because I was technically still a freshman, but I had found a way around it in the terrible system they had. And they fixed it after me. But anyway, so I'd interviewed all these places and they wanted to hire me, but they couldn't because I didn't have the classification that they were hiring. After that, the co-op lady, she liked what I had done and my aggressiveness and kind of felt sorry for me. So she called me, she goes, hey, I got this company coming by to interview. I can't find anybody, would you like to jump in? I'm like, sure. So I showed up, I had the interview. And the very last question they asked me was, do you have any questions? Well, I knew that they were in Columbus, which was about a 15 to 20 minute drive if you drove 100 miles an hour. Because I had done it many times going to a bar in Columbus and then driving back to campus. So anyway, I knew they were right down the street and I knew they were paying pretty good and I knew it was a manufacturing plant. So my last question was, can I ride back with you guys and get started? Interestingly, my boss told me that's the reason they hired me. Like, he wasn't qualified, had no idea what he was doing. He'd worked in construction, but they liked the question. So they ended up hiring me. I ended up going to work that Christmas and got paid ass tons of money to sit around and not do much over the Christmas break, which was pretty cool. The engineers were mad at me because as a co-op, there was some loophole where I got paid and they were on salary and I was hourly. So I would get paid pay plus overtime. And then if it was a holiday, we got double time. So there were some days I was getting 4x what they were making, which was pretty cool. And then I had an engineer in the plant who every single day he would come to me and he would give me $5 for my badge because it said co-op. And he would trade me for his badge and then he didn't have to answer questions all day long. So I made $5 a day just being the engineer. Pretty cool, right?